to put this in front of me. Do I need to start again?
Oh, there we go. That would help. So, regular meeting of the Sueztown Council, Monday, December the 18th at 2 p.m. in council chambers. So first up, we will have the adoption of some minutes, and that would be the regular open minutes of December the 4th for adoption, and the special open minutes of December the 14th for adoption. Could we have, thank you, Councillor Campbell, Councillor Youngberg, all in favor? Thank you. Business arising from prior minutes. From the closed meeting of December the 14th, 2017, Municipal Service Report Number 3, Pool Feasibility Study Grant Application. There was a motion by Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Rhodes, that Council supports the Town of Oliver making a grant application in the amount of $100,000 to the BC Rural Dividend Program for intake capacity building category for the development of a multi-community indoor pool feasibility study. And that was carried. And from the closed meeting of December the 18th, 2017, municipal appointment dog park committee, and there was a motion by Councillor Rhodes and seconded by Councillor Campbell that Council appoint Elizabeth Burnett, Verena Schleich, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, and Bev Bidenoff to be part of the dog park committee. And in the event one of these people do not want to be part of the committee, Council will direct staff to invite Aaron Ballant, and that was carried. Pardon
motion
me?
To receive.
Oh, we need a motion to receive those two. Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Youngberg, all in favor? Thank you. And no introduction of late items? No. So then we need the adoption of the agenda for December 18th, 2017 to be adopted, please. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Youngberg, all in favor? Thank you. No delegations, and next up is water matters. And this is to report Water Districts 8 and 9 financial accounts. And this is to report on expenditures from accounts payable for water councillors and council approval. And water district cash requirements to December the 18th are in the amount of $35,748.82 for council approval. Councillor Ray and Councillor Morera approve this. All in favor? Thank you very much. Next is the Okanagan Basin Water Board highlights, and I attended this meeting. You will see on these reports that come out every month that don't move a muscle, and muscle response take up a fair amount of time with the Water Board and several other communities who have written letters in support of this. Really, you're going to see a lot more, I think. Push to make sure that both the federal government, the provincial government, take steps to make sure that we do not allow mussels into British Columbia. So there's also a wetland project, the Okanagan Falls Wastewater Treatment Plant. There was some money set aside for that to put in a wetland that would receive treated wastewater and provide filtration. And there's a floodplain mapping. So the floodplain mapping grant will update the maps and help communities understand where flooding is most likely to occur and to make better planning decisions. And most of the valley will be mapped by the end of 2018. And the OBWB participates in a sustainable tourism strategy. TOTA, Thompson Okanagan Tourist Association, was recently awarded International Biosphere Destination Certification. It's on water sustainability and the importance of the protection of riparian areas, water sources, and water quality. So could we have a motion to receive that report, please? Thank you. Councillor Campbell, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor? Thank you. And next is the cemetery bylaw. Mr. Zackel.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. So this bylaw is Cemetery Bylaw 1337, 2017 before Council. The Town of Osceola operates the Osceola Lakeview Cemetery under Bylaw 1325. A new 40-unit columbarium has been installed in the town cemetery this fall, and Bylaw 1337 is being brought forward for Council's consideration to add fees, or to add in the fees and charges for the utilization of the columbarium. Cemetery Bylaw 1337, 2017 is being brought forward for Council's consideration. This bylaw includes changes to the existing Bylaw 1225 and add definitions and fees and charges in relation to the columbarium burials. The columbarium fee for an interment is $1,820, which includes the license to use and occupy a niche, the care fund, interment, and handling and placing of the granite cover plate. Other municipalities that have columbariums in the Okanagan include Karamias, which is set at $1,900, West Kelowna at $3,000, Penticton at $3,400, and Kelowna at $3,407. The fee established for Osceola fully recovers the cost of purchasing and installing the columbarium. There were a number of new fees that were added in addition to the ones noted above, and they include a granite cover plate for a columbarium replacement cost, $475, columbarium disinterment of $110. As well, other rates were reviewed and the following changes were made to them. The adult grave space was changed to $620, adult grave space care fund $155, child-size grave space $280, child-size grave space care fund $70, cremated size grave space $220, cremated size grave space care fund $55, grave liners $330, and oversized grave liners $430. Cremain grave liners was increased as well to $90. These changes were all reviewed and approved by our operational services. Implications for community: ensures users of the cemetery pay for the services and is not funded through taxation. Organizationally, no changes required organizationally. Budget, no change. Significant dates: new bylaw would take effect once the bylaw is adopted. Sustainability, to ensure financial sustainability of the Osceola Lakeview Cemetery. And options before Council to give first readings to Cemetery Bylaw 1337, 2017. Option 2, to make further amendments to Bylaw 1337, 2017. And Option 3, to maintain existing Bylaw 1325, 2016. And a recommendation before Council is option number 1. Making these changes to the town cemetery bylaw allows for the burials in a newly installed columbarium.
Thank you very much. I had a question. I see that the columbarium has room for 40 slots, and I'm just wondering how long, or do we have any idea how long that will last? How are we looking at building another one in a year or 5 years? Do we have any idea?
Right now, that increases our lifespan of the cemetery. But as we see the usage of this, it will trigger purchasing of another one.
Okay.
From what I understand, I should let Jim speak to that as far as the space.
Well, like I said, we haven't really sold any niches just yet, so we don't know how quickly they're going to go. Now that we actually have a price for them, that would be an indication of how fast they're going to sell out. If it turns out that they're selling briskly, then we can certainly purchase another columbarium. It takes a while to get one of these things, but it's less than a couple of months.
And would it be placed next to the one that's there?
What we were planning on doing with future columbarium installations was kind of where the first one is. There, we would kind of make, if you can envision, sort of a wall along there of these columbariums along that road. So it would provide a bit of a border for the cemetery as well.
Okay.
So along that road is where we would put additional ones.
Great. Thank you. Yes, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Member Kordoff. Just a quick question. Do those prices include recovering our investment in the purchase of it? That's included in there, right?
Yes, okay. I do. Yes. And that you see quite a discrepancy with respect to Penticton and Kelowna's columbarium rates. And if you look at their columbariums, they're quite substantive as far as the development of them. So that's why there's such an increase in cost.
Okay. Good. Councillor Campbell.
I'd like to move that we give the first 3 readings to Cemetery Bylaw 1337, 2017.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes. Anyone else like to talk to this? All in favor? Thank you very much. Next is the Revenue Anticipation Borrowing Bylaw. Mr. Zackel.
Thank you. So for council to renew their line of credit with the Bank of Montreal, Section 177 of the Community Charter allows the municipality by bylaw to establish a bylaw to provide for the borrowing of money in anticipation of revenue. This bylaw authorizes the municipality to borrow up to $1.5 million to meet their current expenditures and pay for amounts to meet the municipality's taxing obligations. This line of credit is set up with the Bank of Montreal. If this operating line of credit is used, the revenue from property taxes must be used to repay the money borrowed. In 2017, the town of Osoyoos did not go into their line of credit. Implications for the community. Allows for the operations to continue until funding comes in for taxation, if required. Organizationally, there's no impacts. Budget, there's no impacts. Significant dates, new bylaw to be adopted by February 2018 at the latest. Sustainability is fiscal management. Under options, to give first readings to Revenue Anticipation Borrowing Bylaw 1338, 2017. Option number 2, not to give first 3 readings to this bylaw. And the recommendation is option number 1.
Thank you very much. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McCorduff. I think I ask this question every year, but I'll be repetitive. This is strictly a safe fail measure that we do, and it's not intended to be utilized. It's not for
That's correct.
extenuating circumstances.
Yep, that's correct. If our municipality was in a situation where we didn't have the volume of reserve funds that we have, we could potentially go into that line of credit before taxation or taxes are sent out to be collected. But it is a protection for the municipality if we had to utilize that. So it's not as easy as making an application and getting a line of credit. Municipalities have to do it on an annual basis to have that in place.
May I ask, have we ever had to use the line of credit? Not to my knowledge.
Not in my time here.
No. Good. That's what I thought. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCorduff. I'll move option number 1.
Seconding that. All in favor? Thank you. Next is the Merry Christmas, Councillor Morera and Councillor Ray. Next is the Council Remuneration and Expense Paid Report.
Thank you. So this is to report on council remuneration and expenses paid for the period of December 2016 to November 2017 as per Bylaw 948. Section 168 of the Community Charter states that for at least once a year, a council must have prepared a report separately listing the following from each council members by name: the total amount of remuneration paid for each council member for the discharge of office, including any amounts specified as an expense allowance, the total amount of expenses paid for the council member made to the council member as a reimbursement for expenses incurred by the council member or as an allowance for the not reported under the first paragraph, the total amount of any benefits, including insurance policies and policies for medical or dental services provided to the council member for the member's dependents. Any contract reported under Section 107, which is disclosure of contacts with council members and former council members, including a general description of their nature. Some implications under community, adherence to Bylaw 948. Excuse me. Organizationally, there's nothing. Budget, there's nothing to report. Significant dates, this is to be done once per year. Sustainability, completing required processes for the municipality. And options before council is to receive the information. And it's basically to receive the attached council remuneration and expense paid report for period 2001 or December 1st, 2016 to November 30th, 2017.
Thank you very much. So could we have a motion to receive this report, please? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Campbell, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCorduff. Just as additional information, I'd also like to mention that Every elected official in the province of British Columbia also has to file what's known as a financial disclosure document, and you do that on an annual basis. And that is also public information that is available through a process that's not included in this.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. So, all in favor? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zackel. Next is the contract award for contract number 2, aerated cell number 3. Mr. Dinwiddie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The liner in aerated cell number 3 has been in service for 39 years, which is significantly beyond the anticipated 25-year service life. In November of 2017, the Operational Services Department hired a contractor to de-water and de-sludge aerated cell number 3 at the Osoyoos Sewer Lagoons. The next phase of this rehabilitation project is the removal of 17,400 square meters of HDPE liner from cell number 3 and its transport to the Osoyoos Sanitary Landfill. Discussions between True Consulting and the Operational Services Department resulted in the decision to tender the various components of the cell number 3 rehabilitation project separately. It is believed that by doing so, this project will be more attractive to potential contractors, hopefully resulting in multiple bids and more competitive pricing. It should be noted that Nathan Ondris Construction Limited, who actually bid on this contract, is a local contractor. So you can please see the attached report from True Consulting for more detailed cost analysis of this project. Implications for the community are improved processing of effluent at the Osoyoos Sanitary Sewer Lagoons, organizationally reduction in maintenance costs at the Osoyoos Sanitary Sewer Lagoons. Budget-wise, the anticipated budget for this portion of the cell number 3 rehabilitation project was $45,100. The bid from the only local contractor is $500 or 1.1% over this budget. However, the bid from Nathan Ondris Construction Limited does include a $5,000 contingency sum, which may or may not be used. Significant dates: in order for the selected contractor to begin work as soon as weather permits, in the spring of 2018, it is recommended that Town Council award this contract as soon as possible. Sustainability: the reduction in the risk of effluent leaking into groundwater sources around the Osoyoos Sanitary Lagoons. The options before Council are that Town Council awards the contract for contract number 2, aerated cell number 3, liner removal to Nathan Ondris Construction Limited for $45,600, not including GST. Option number 2 is the Town Council awards the contract for contract number 2, aerated cell number 3, liner removal to one of the other 2 bidders on this project. And option number 3 is that Town Council requests additional information prior to making a decision. The recommendation from the administration is that Town Council adopt option number 1.
Thank you very much. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Well, how happy was I when I read this report last Thursday. Awarding a contract like this to a local business is just a great thing in my mind, and makes me very, very happy to move option number 1 as it's worded.
Great. Are you seconding that? Yes. Nathan Ondris was born in this town and grew up here and went to school here. And so I'm very happy, too, that...
Did you teach him?
Of course.
Was he a good student?
And I'm very happy that this that he came in as the lowest bid and that we are providing work for local people. So this is just a win-win as far as I'm concerned. Great. Carol?
I just have to add that Nathan is, as we speak, with his backhoe in Desert Park doing a lot of water extension for us. So he's a great, dependable company in Osoyoos, and we're proud of him for developing his professionalism like he has.
Great. Yep, it's really good. So that was moved and seconded. All in favor? Thank you very much. And next is the sewer connection. Request to provide sewer service to 15811 89th Street. Mr. Dinwiddie.
Thank you, Member Kortoff. In February of 2011, the Town of Osoyoos created the Extraterritorial Service Provision Northwest Sewer Policy PW013. This policy was developed to guide decision-making related to future requests for service from properties serviceable by the Northwest Sewer Line. The $23,790 figure was derived from a prorated cost of developing an individual service without the assistance of government funding. During the planning and construction period, people close to the sewer line were provided the opportunity to receive a service at $8,000 amount in an effort to decrease the per unit cost to the entire project. The regional district offered an option to pay one-time charge or a 20-year parcel tax. For an overview, the Operational Services Department received a letter from Mr. Dick Helloffs and Ms. Carly Gillespie on December 12, 2017, inquiring about connecting to the Northwest Sector Sanitary Sewer Service. And there's also, like I said, I think you also have a copy of a new letter that they sent this morning as well. Operational Services Department, with True Consulting, has determined that there is sufficient capacity in the existing sewer pipe to accommodate Mr. Helloff's request to connect his proposed single-family home. Implication for the community is the elimination of another potential septic field from the area in the RDUS by Osoyoos Lake. Organizationally, a slight increase in the demand of the town of Osoyoos sanitary sewer system. Budget, there is no impact because the town of Osoyoos should not be responsible for any costs associated with connecting Mr. Helloff's property to the Northwest sanitary sewer system. Significant dates, Mr. Helloff is anxious to begin construction of his new home and would appreciate a decision from town council as soon as possible. Sustainability, once again, a slight increased demand to continue to maintain the town of Osoyoos' sanitary sewer system. The options before council, option number one is that council allows Mr. Helloffs to connect to the Northwest Sanitary Sewer Service for a fee of $23,790 plus an inspection fee. Option number two is that council does not allow Mr. Helloffs to connect to the Northwest Sanitary Sewer Service. Option number three is that council requests additional information prior to making a decision. The administration recommends that town council adopt option number one.
Thank you. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Member Kordoff. When this project began way back in the day, one of the situations that was offered to every one of the property or the beneficiaries of the sewer system, they were able to opt out of the sewer thing by choice. And I have a fairly vivid memory of about 9 or 10 people that chose to opt out of doing the hookup down there. In addition to that, there was a number of people that decided they wanted the service, but they didn't want immediate hookup for, a wide variety of reasons. That wouldn't be caught up in this at all. There's no mention who the property owner was at that time, so I have no way of verifying.
No, I don't believe so. I think Mr. Helloff's property was not on that magic list. There is a list in extraterritorial service policy number 13 of properties, excuse me, that in the future would have gotten the discount. His property is not on that list, and Mr. Helloff was not in the area at the time. He had just recently purchased this property. So,
most of the property owners that decided to opt out of that were located quite a ways away from the actual pipe that was going in. I just noticed that this one is very, very close to it.
it is.
So doing a hookup at the time kind of would have been a no-brainer in my mind, and I would just, so we've I guess my question is, we've already verified that there's no possibility it could have been paid for in the past, and
Nope. No, it wasn't paid for in the past, or whoever owned the property before Mr. Helloff didn't want to hook up, I guess, for whatever reason. So.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So, Councillor Campbell.
I'll move option number one.
I'll second.
Yeah. Absolutely. All in favor? Thank you. I'd like to point out that that Mr. Helloffs was asking for a reduction in the fee and really was preferring to either pay quite a bit less rather than the $23,000. And some of the people along that road and along that whole corridor who chose not to sign up at the time when it was offered, a special deal with the RDOS, several of them have since decided that it was very sensible to hook up to the sewer, much easier to deal with and much more environmentally appropriate. And several of them have actually paid the $23,000 and joined that.
Recently, at least 2 people that I know of have,
yes,
who had originally said no. Back to the deal back in the day, they said yes, and they have paid the $23,790 plus the inspection fee.
and we're happy that they have. So thank you very much. That is...
I'll let Mr. Helov know.
Okay, for sure. And next is the cash requirements. We'll look at those. So this is to general net payroll and Sun Bowl Arena financial accounts, and to report on expenditures from accounts payable for council approval and payroll information for us to receive. So general cash requirements of $419,994.74, and Sun Bowl Arena cash requirements of $13,180.91, and those would be paid by consensus. And new payroll accounts, net payroll accounts, not new, $84,758.20, and that is for information. Okay, thank you. And next is the building permit report, and it's nice to see that there are still some buildings being people doing interior renovation, finishing a basement, and 2 new single-family dwellings. Those would be 2 of the ones over at the behind the fire hall at our new subdivision. So that's good. So we're now total for the month of $695,000, and total for to date in 2017 is $12,695,291, and that's double what it was last year at this time. So we're very pleased to see that people are building and improving and doing good things. So do we need a motion to accept that? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Youngberg, all in favor. Thank you. And the bylaw enforcement report. There was one that when I looked down this list, it's a little quieter for bylaw usually at this time of year, but I thought it was interesting that hours spent on complaints is 18, and last year it was 9, so double. But I'm not quite sure what that means. Do you know, Mr. Romanko, what complaints are? It's the second on the list. There's traffic is one, which is quite a bit more than last year, but I just wasn't sure what complaints meant. Was that complaints to the bylaw officer?
I don't know.
Maybe at some point we will. Okay. It's Mr. Campbell. It's all right. Okay. I'm thinking that at some point it might be a good idea to ask our bylaw officer to come in. I will ask for clarification. Even if she came every couple of months to a meeting to kind of explain, because sometimes the numbers are hard to interpret. Yeah. So maybe in the spring or something we could have her come to a meeting.
Such as
Yes.
a real decrease. 21 dogs or animals
Yes.
down to 9 this year.
That's hours, though, right? It's not.
That's hours. Well,
Yeah,
hours,
yeah,
putting
and
people
files.
or animals in the pound.
Yeah.
The pound
It's
is
a
empty
big
right now,
decrease.
so.
Pardon?
The pound is empty now, so.
That's a good thing. People
and-
are looking after
It
their
is.
animals.
Absolutely. And then parks enforcement is the next page, and it just doesn't look like it's too busy down there, which is a good thing. I'm sure it will be in the summer. So do we need a motion to accept these reports? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Campbell, all in favor. Did you want to speak to it? No, I thought your hand was up. Yes, you do. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to draw attention to my ongoing ranting about the smoking hours that were spent. I'm looking at this one, that's blank.
Yes,
So
right.
that means there was no time spent on it. So thank you very much for the cooperation. I won't take credit for it, but I did want to point it out.
Okay. He wasn't there. All right. Next is the meeting minutes, the Community Services Advisory Committee. And our Councillor King is not here today, so it seems to me that they've just had a meeting recently, and they certainly discussed the bridge jumping, which was on the last one as well, and I think we've dealt with that already today. Anybody have any concerns about anything in that report? No. Okay, then could we have a motion to accept the Community Services Advisory minutes, please? Thank you. Councillor Youngberg, Councillor Campbell, all in favor. And next we have the CAO report.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a few of the activities that various departments have been involved in over the last couple of weeks. Starting first in community services, where swimming lessons at the Holiday Inn with a new local instructor. Kids Can Cook, Crafty Kids, and Junior Mad Scientists are very popular programs that are filling up this year. WorkSafe BC conducted an inspection at the Sun Bowl Arena in relation to ammonia, and they were pleased with the policies and work practices that we have in place. Our adult change table has been installed at the Sonora. This is part of Council's annual accessibility funding program. We are planning to do a photo op opportunity as soon as possible. The Desert Park building renovations are now complete. The outdoor bleachers will be completed in the next week. Rocking with Santa was a wonderful success. Over 30 families attended, along with the Osoyoos Coyotes, volunteers, and Santa. Special thanks to town staff, especially Tamara, and all the sponsors and volunteers who made this event unforgettable. In terms of corporate services, 5 very large Freedom of Information requests were received in the last 2 weeks, taking up much of corporate services time as documents were reviewed and redacted. Personnel files are being updated and some documents scanned into the electronic system. Information brochures for law enforcement and parks have been reviewed and updated being made. They will be ready for the spring. Postings went out for 3 relief positions, relief recreation facilities attendant, clerical staff, and weigh scale clerk. An internal posting for full-time utility person was filled. Brad Garsdale has taken over the position from Barry Steen, who will be retiring at the end of the year. In terms of finance, the auditors completed their first rounds of reviews with a focus on the Sun Bowl Arena accounts and found no issues. The budget meeting with council and follow-up changes were the next area of priority. In Public Works, they began desert landscaping on the southwest corner of Golf Course Drive and Pebble Beach Drive. Repaired riprap along the Pioneer Walkway and completed various requested landscaping repairs. Also repaired the pathway between Harbor Key and Sonola Key behind Desert Mirage. Removed beaver-damaged trees at Lakeshore Drive. In terms of myself, this has been a busy couple of weeks preparing being involved and preparing the release of information related to the pool feasibility study. Also attended a resort municipality meeting in Vancouver. The council budget meeting had a 1-year warranty inspection for the fire hall, and we are still dealing with some outstanding items that need to be addressed. The town hall building assessment was carried out this last week. A report is due at the end of January that will assist with future directions on this particular building. I'm also pleased to announce that we have successfully filled the position of Director of Planning and Development. Gina McKay will be starting with us on January 15th, 2018. Gina will be bringing over 20 years of experience in planning and development to our community. She is currently working as the manager of long-range planning and special projects for the District of Mission. But she comes with other senior planning experience in Courtenay, Columbia-Shuswap Regional District, Bowen Island, and the city of Williams Lake. So I will be preparing a media release to be sent out just prior to her arrival. I'd like to take this opportunity to, on behalf of all the staff that work for the town of Osoyoos, to wish all our residents the best of the season and a Merry Christmas, and may you travel safe.
Thank you very much. We need to accept the report. Campbell Roads, all in favor? Thank you. Now on to council reports. Councillor Youngberg.
Yes, I would like to begin with being very excited about the release of the pool feasibility study that the council has decided to support and move forward with. I think it's really covering some of the major concerns of young families in our community, and hopefully we'll get some good results from that report. Secondly, congratulations are really due to Christine Jurgensen, and a real young member of our community that was taught curling for her 12 to 13 years of schooling, which is Renee Lemke, who will be inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame at the Scotty Tournament of Hearts in Penticton in the late part of January. So that's exciting news for we curlers. And also just like to wish everybody in the community a real Merry Christmas, and have safe journeys wherever you may go through the holidays, and all the best in the new year to everybody.
Thank you. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Member Kordoff. Yeah, just a couple of things. I'd like to reassure everybody in our community that our lake is not drying up. At a very concern. Well, actually, I've heard from about 4 or 5 people about it. One individual took me down to the Holiday Inn during our between meeting breaks today and pointed out that the dock is actually sitting on exposed dirt at the Holiday Inn currently. This is a very controlled thing in our lake. We typically like to encourage the Zozel Dam to allow the lake to go down during our winter months, because it does protect a lot of the docks around the lake, both on the United States side and in Canada, from frost damage and that kind of thing. And sometimes it's a natural occurrence, but I almost guarantee that it'll be back up to normal levels again in the spring. If it doesn't, then that'll be a whole other issue that we'll have to deal with at that point. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone sitting around here, Jim King as well. Happy New Year to everybody, particularly our staff members who will be enjoying a nice little break over Christmas. And once again, and I know we just kind of went through this a little while ago, great job, and I'm hoping our CAO will pass it on to all of our workers. It's been a great year. Our community has benefited from a tremendous amount of hard work from every department. And that would be my report.
Thank you very much. Can I just make a comment about your concern about the lake level? The IJC has, for the Zozel Dam and Osoyoos Lake, they do have limits of upper and lower, what they where they normally keep. It's called the rule curve, and actually it can go down to 909 feet above sea level, because it's done in the States, and we're at 909.50. And the way I know that is that I get a report on my phone daily to tell me what it is. The problem is that it went up to almost 915 today, so that's 5.5 feet higher. And that was, I think, why people noticed the difference so much. But it definitely it is within the rule curve right now, so not to worry. Thank you. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I just wanted to briefly talk about the press release that went out this week regarding the feasibility for the aquatic center, potential aquatic center. I'm incredibly excited about this project, and I just want to remind everybody that it wasn't that long ago that we had 2 communities connected at the hip that were ready to take pitchforks at each other regarding school closures, and I think several years before that it was about hospitals. This to me is an incredible opportunity, not just for an aquatic center, but really as an idea of showcasing how rural municipalities, when they work together, could put together some amazing projects if we sort of just put our politics aside, I guess, and look for common goals for our constituents. So when we look at a project like this, with multi-community and First Nations involved, and in order for all those parties to want to come forward and work together on a project like this, means that there's some confidence that all of their constituents would benefit or would really want to see a project like this move forward. So I'm really, really excited about this project. My hopes is that we get a very extensive feasibility study done and can move toward this project in a fair, in a timely manner as far as how timely it can be in this type of situation. But it's also my hope that the province sort of looks at this scenario as a model that other rural municipalities can look toward to put together projects like this. I mean, what an amazing concept that there's potentially you could see small communities of 5,000 come together to put together facilities that you really only see in a major center, and what that would do to attract families to these rural communities, I think would be unprecedented. So I just wanted to put that out there and wish everybody happy holidays and safe holidays.
Thank you very much. And we certainly look forward to hearing more about the report as well. A couple of things that I wanted to say. One, I was at the Okanagan Whibbit Open House that was held at the community center a couple of, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I have to say that Randy and Riley Gallagher, who are the family that manage this business, water sports business, did an excellent job of telling the people that were there, and there was about 30 people there, about the project. They answered all the questions in a very respectful way. Even people there were a few of them that put some pretty tough questions to them about why they were doing it and how they were going to anchor it and whether it was green or not. And they did an excellent job of discussing those points and making people feel like this was a good project. So I was very impressed with that and hope that will be moving forward. I was also at another meeting at the South Okanagan General where several people from Osoyoos, Oliver, OK Falls were talking about mental health issues, and I do have a mental health, South Okanagan Mental Health Resource Guide, which is people are very concerned about mental health and drug addiction and that type of thing right now. It's really in the news all the time. So this is a resource guide of all of the things that are available in the South Okanagan right now, and I think it's quite helpful. I wanted to say to Councillor Rhodes in particular that on the news today, I saw that Victoria has decided to, starting in January, not allow single-use plastic bags. And I know that we have talked about this a couple of years ago. I think it was about 5 years ago I was in Hawaii, and they do not allow them over there. And I remember we talked about it at council at the time. So I'm thinking that we may see this come back and be supported by other communities. I think Montreal is doing the same thing. Not a bad idea. We should be banning those at some point in the future. I was down in Vancouver last week with the CAO at a resort municipality meeting, and despite the fact that it was the middle of winter and people had to fly in, some drove, 13 of the 14 municipalities were represented there, most of them by mayors and the CAOs, and it was a very interesting time. The ministry looked at what worked best in the communities, what we would like to see moving forward, and it was interesting to listen to all the other communities because each one is slightly different. So I feel that this was a positive move, and we certainly look forward to having our resort municipality funding continue. And I just wanted to say a very Merry Christmas to not only our staff, who are terrific in Town Hall and our other public facilities in town, the Sonora Center, the Sun Bowl Arena, and the Operational Services buildings, and to all of our residents and visitors. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If you would prefer, Happy Holidays, safe travels. Enjoy this time of the year, and we look forward to seeing everybody again in January. Thank you. Could we have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Councillor Campbell, Councillor Youngberg. All in favor. Thank you, everybody.